Jeremy here from Lat SEO. In this video, I'm walking through a site audit of artsway.com to look at what's going on with their website, what can or should be done from an SEO perspective to help them rank better, get more traffic, and generate more revenue from their SEO efforts. So the first thing I like to do is just a quick look at the site, get an idea a little bit about overall what's going on with the brand, what kind of products or offerings they have, and then also looking to see if there's any major design or UX issues that should be cleaned up as well. And from my first quick review, looks like their site is set up and designed pretty well. Very easy to navigate and see information, what's going on, and to learn a little bit more about some of these different categories they have. Now, the first thing from a technical SEO perspective I like to do is what's called a site operator search. And I go into Google and type in site : and then the full domain name here. And what this shows us are all of the pages that are indexed in Google from this domain name. And this also then shows us the title of each page, this first part here, this title, the description underneath it, and then the URL or information about the page or the brand above it. And what I like to look at here is just to see, first of all, does the homepage index first? And in this case it is, which is good. That means indexing for the homepage is set up correctly. The other things to look at then would be what optimization gaps they have potentially with titles and descriptions for some of these other pages. And then to get an idea as to what other pages does Google view as relatively strong comparatively. Generally, you would see the strongest pages showing up here, and there would be instances of category pages if those are stronger pages, or individual product pages. It looks like the resources, they have the Georgia Dare representative in Western Canada page here, and then some additional press release and other information. So to me, this tells me potentially there's a gap with keywords, and the opportunity to rank some of their primary category or product style pages is something that would very likely produce significant benefit for them. And to look at this in a little bit more detail, let's go into Ahrefs here. And what I would like to do here is quickly just see the backlink profile and then look a little bit at the search data on the right side as well to see what's going on, how strong is their site, what are they ranking for, and then we can dig into what opportunities and what keywords we can actually target from this perspective. So DR, if you're unfamiliar, stands for domain rating. This is on a 0 to 100 scale and essentially means or looks at how strong or how authoritative their site is relative to their competitors. And from this perspective, DR 30, and DR is always going to be relative to the websites you're attempting to compete with. So 30 is not necessarily strong or weak, but in this case, I'm guessing they probably have some decent potential to rank for a lot of different keywords. Then we have the keyword data over here, and you can see 453 organic keywords, about 1,000 traffic. And this is monthly data. So all of that being said, if we look at some of the keywords they're ranking for, we can start to get an idea as to what could potentially be done and what keywords we can work to improve. So let's look at locations and filter by US. And then the other thing to do is filter. I like to filter by intent to look at commercial and transactional keywords. And the reason for that is we want to target keywords and phrases that actually have conversion potential, so that if we do improve rankings, we can generate some significant results. We have a list here of keywords, and if we filter or sort this by search volume per month, now we have opportunities that can very likely drive some significant benefit for them. So we have hammer mill here. 2,100 people search this every month. So let's look at, actually, let's just check out the page first and see what's going on with this page. So this is a portable hammer mill. Starts at $25,597. So one new deal for this would be provide significant benefit for the company here. So if we look at, let's do an SEO or an inspection here. H1 is the product title. So what I'm doing now is looking at the elements on this page to see how they're optimized. And generally speaking, we want the product name or category name to be an H1, which this is, so that is good. And H elements, H1, H2, H3, are header tags that search engines can understand to determine what a page should be ranking for. And we have, let's see, these are just list items here. And then we have the table. This is an H3. So here's another gap So this, just to explain, so we have H1 right here, and then we have, this does not look to be an H element, a header element. And then we have H3, H6, H2. So if we go here and show you this, so we have H1, and then we have H3, H6, H2. And the reason why I'm making note of this and why this is important from a technical SEO perspective is this hierarchy is confusing for search engines to understand which of these elements are the most important. And generally speaking, when you're setting up content, you would set it up like this: H1, then you'd have H2, and then if necessary, if you need to nest, you would go H3 next, and then you'd go 4 through 6. And then, so we'll just do this, H4 through 6. And then you'd go back, if you had another subheading or subtopic, then you'd go back to H2. So jumping around from 1 to 3 and skipping header values is something that, from a technical SEO perspective, should be avoided whenever possible. So just something to look at there. And then if we look at the rest of the page here, they do have some content, request a quote form, more information about locating dealers. So from that perspective, the content on this page and this quote form is actually really, really good, but the content itself could likely be optimized better and improved. And these scrollable elements inside a page here can cause issues, especially with mobile as well. So I usually recommend avoiding that from a user experience perspective, but that's a design element. And something that I would prefer to see a table like this, something that when you minimize the window or look at it on a mobile or a tablet, it snaps accordingly and correctly. So let's look at portable hammer mill and see what can be done here. So if we look at the keyword, you can see hammer mill here. And actually one other thing to look at here, they are ranking position 42. So of the 2,100 people who are searching for a hammer mill every month, they are getting no traffic from this. So huge potential for this, especially since the product is over $25,000. Now, if we go back to the keywords here, let's look at, I like to do this search too, to see of any keyword or phrase that contains hammer mill, there are 1,153 keywords, 10,000 searches per month, 51,000 global searches. And some of these, hammer mill grinder, for sale, crusher, I don't know enough about this product, if it does grinding or crushing or how this would all work, but huge opportunity regardless. Even if we factor in a tenth of these, we still have over 100 different keywords to optimize the page for and build content on this page. Secondly, from here, I like to look at questions to see what opportunities we have to build additional content on this page. And the reason why questions are so important is because when you have questions and answers on your page in like an FAQ structure, you not only make it easier for you to rank for organic keywords, but you make it easier for you to rank in AI as well. And the way to structure this would be to build a section for FAQs and answer these questions. What is a hammer mill? What is it used for? You wouldn't necessarily need to have every single one of these. How does it work? How much do they cost? You can have your price ranging there, what it is. So again, you'd filter through these and figure out which ones actually make sense for your site. Now, the other thing to look at then would be looking at a search looking at information from your prospects and understanding the questions they have, adding that content to your site. And then thirdly, you could do a search in Google for a keyword or phrase like what is a hammer mill, and look at the people also ask section to get additional recommendations from that. And then you would have a significant list of questions that people are actually looking for that you can have content on your site to work to rank for and help you find people who don't know about your brand, but know about the product you have. And you can then work to rank and get revenue from those people as well. Now, next thing to look at then is if we go back to the keywords here for hammer mill, let's look and see who's ranking to see if it even is potential for them to compete for this term. So we have here Artsway, the hammer mill product, portable hammer mill. There are again DR30, if you recall. And if we look here, we have Wikipedia at number 1 is 96. Then we have hammermills.com 26, Meadows Mills 19, 52 for Pleasant Hill Grain, a 1 for USA Pellet Mill, Hammer Mill again, Prater Industries, and then HMI H Micron powder. I think that's the brand. 38. So all of that being said, DR30 says they can very likely compete. They're stronger than 2 of the top 3 ranking websites. And if we look here at the links, they only have 1 link to this page, and Hammer Mills has 93. Meadows actually has 0. So they're probably doing something better, or there's some things behind the scenes with links that we can't necessarily see. But just this very high level view tells me that this is a term they could very well compete better for if their optimization was set up better, especially for the on page and content. Now, let's look at one more. Actually, let's look at Meadows Mills and just see what they're doing. This is the other thing to look at and think about. So this is a homepage for Hammer Mills. Then we have Wikipedia, and then we have a category page for Meadows Hammer Mills. And then we have, let's see, another category page. And this looks to be an individual product page here. So which one was this? USA Pellet Mill. So USA Pellet is an individual product. Otherwise, we have category, and then internal page on Wikipedia, which they are ranking for this, but let's scratch them out because this is not actually the same type of website. So we have a homepage, and then we have 2 category pages. And then the product page is the worst of these 4 non-Wikipedias. So this tells me that it would make more sense to optimize a product, or excuse me, not a product, a category or a collection style page instead of an individual product page based on the site's ranking for this. So that would be something I would look at as well. And the way to set this up would be to look at, again, the keywords and phrases. And if we look kind of at what Meadows Mills is doing, is you have the optimization at the top here. Then you have a quick overview section. And then you have all of this additional about information about the product line, FAQ section, more information about it as well. And this works extremely well, regardless of whether you're B2B, industrial, B2C, does not matter. From an optimization and a content perspective, this structure of setting up your website and optimizing it in this fashion is one of the best ways to drive significant traffic for these types of websites where you have information about the product itself, questions and answers for your customers, and then links to either products or additional product categories as well. And like I said, this allows you to get optimized for so many other dozens or hundreds of other keywords on this page because you have content here as well. And you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into optimizing one specific page for a category. Like if you have multiple mills, for example, multiple hammer mills, you don't want to attempt to rank an individual product page for that. You would want to rank a category or collection page where somebody could see all of those products within that category that you provide. And like I said, this strategy is working extremely well on like a number of different websites. And then let's see, lastly, let's look at what they can do. So let's say you're planning to build a category page for hammer mills and you have no idea how to do this or where to start. So what I would do is you could go to something like ChatGPT, say, I want to build a category style page for my products, hammer mills. I want to have a overview, top, my products, then detailed content under the product grid. I also want to include FAQ text. Give me the recommended outline of this page with H2, H3 headings and the correct structured data markup I should use. Now, markup text and structured data, I've mentioned this before. The reason why this is important is this code that goes in the back end of your site to allow search engines to understand and build correlations between your content and the information. And then especially if you have locations as well, builds correlations between all of that, and makes it easier for search and AI to understand what your content is, the type of content it is, and then makes it easier for you to rank for whether it be in AI or within your organic search for those keywords as well. So let's just do this and see what kind of output we have here. And while this is working, let's go back here and look at other opportunities just to see. Straw blower, double check on this one. So this would be more of like a category style page they have here as well. And this is just talking about, it is talking about the product itself, but, and you have the link to view the models here, which actually just drops down to here. So this type of page, this is what I would recommend as well for the hammer mill. But if we go to here, straw blower, again, they're ranked 39 for this, and 1,100 people search that each month, and they are getting no traffic. So let's just do a quick check here and see if this is another good opportunity. So we have FinCorp, 41, 73, 73, 70, 22, 27, 41. So this is a little bit more competitive here. But here is where a bale, so it looks like they're optimized for bale processors. Straw blowers, straw blower. And let's do a search here for straw. So they don't even have straw blower on this page, which is interesting because that is the page that they are ranking for straw blower. So maybe there is a difference there. Like I said, I'm not extremely familiar with this industry, but straw blowers and straw blowers feeders. Okay, that'd be interesting to think about and look at, but a potential opportunity there if that product is relevant. It's the one that's ranking, which is why I was looking at that in more detail. And then we have dirt equipment, land planes. So land leveler, probably similar. Let's double check on this one. Easily pull the land plane behind you to level. So this would be a land leveler. And this probably has products at the bottom here as well. And if we look at, go back to here, land leveler, let's see who's ranking for this. 19 at number 1, 35, 24, 55. So again, they could very likely compete for this if it was optimized correctly as well, and potentially build some additional links. You can see some links to some of these pages. Land leveler for tractors. And they have land planes, land scrapers. So here is, so land planer, let's look at this, land leveling equipment, land planer, land leveler. Let's do this. Here's another opportunity for them. Land planer, land leveler, leveler, land leveling equipment, land planing equipment. Planning? Pretty sure that's how you spell planing. Let's search and see what happens. Land leveler, 900 searches. Land planer, 150. They're optimized for land planes. So my recommendation for this would be to optimize for land leveler. You get a significant additional opportunity in terms of traffic, and you're optimized for the primary key phrase. Secondly, you can still optimize your page for land planer by having that content on that page as well. So let's double check the output in ChatGPT here and see what it says for hammer mills. So this gives you exact JSON LD you'll want. Let's double check. Yep. So here's the exact code that you would use. And let's look at the outline here. Go to an H2 overview. The H1 would be hammer mills, like I said. H2, what is? So this, you could include this information, or you can save some of these questions for, like this one here specifically, for your FAQ section. But then why choose your brand might be helpful, fast specs. And then you'd have the shop information with product grid, applications and industries. These are huge, and this would be a massive opportunity for new content and potentially new pages. Selection guide, how-to, technical details, maintenance and support. You have that information, resources, and then the FAQs. And then this would be the structured data you would use within the FAQ section. Add this all into your code of the site. And then item list, if you have individual items there with reviews. And if you don't need to keep prices in there, then you don't have to put some of that information in there. And then a web page data type as well. And then FAQ page. And this is the exact code that you would use for the FAQ markup. You'd have question and answer, put in your exact question and the exact answer, and put all of that information and code into the back end of the site to make sure it's optimized correctly so that you have a better chance to rank for terms that are providing 4, 5, 10x traffic potential. If you look here at the search volume here for global and search volume for regular is significantly different compared to or from land leveler to land planer. So huge opportunities here for this brand. And this is something that I would look at from an SEO perspective to determine what needs to be done and then work to implement this strategy as well. Hopefully you got some value from that video. If you did, subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I plan to continue posting more videos like this, looking at strategies and recommendations and implementation for SEO and AI for B2B, industrial, and those style brands and websites to get more value and more benefit from SEO to generate more revenue from your organic efforts. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.